I want to open myself up to be able to answer those for you. And so we're going to go ahead and go one by one. And again, for any of you who have joined maybe a couple of minutes into this, you can go ahead and unmute safely. If you're not driving, do it as safely as possible. Ask two questions of your best questions that you have. If you only have one, that's totally fine. And if you don't have any, just say I have no questions. It was already answered, or I have no questions. Thanks for taking the time, and we'll move on to the next person. So we'll start with the first to turn their camera on, and that's going to be Mr. Daniel. All right, we'll start with you. You can go ahead and unmute and let me know what your question is.
Okay, so my question is, and so I'm going to throw this out there because I've raised three daughters and got them all through college, debt free, and on their part and on my part too. So that's where a lot of my funds have gone over the last, all 4 years apart. So I've just now been able to start, kind of saving up, and so I spoke to Micah, and I would probably fit more under the. You didn't talk about it, the silver. I'm looking at a 60,000 that I can invest right now and stuff, but the way I see it, I'm willing to start. I got to start somewhere, and so my question is with the volatility in the economy right now. Um, I've got money in the market. I've got money in crypto, and neither have done. They've just kind of gone through these little cycles. And so I'm glad to see the last few days, or at least that the market has kind of picked up a little bit. But I was asking Micah, what effect is this going to? Well, and obviously there's an effect because I think some of the best returns were right now for this last month. The examples they gave me were like 1 point something, and so. Um, I know based on the roundtable discussion that he gave me access to, where you had some of your traders or your people there talking and stuff, and I really like that part that they've got eyes on the computer because I don't have the time for that, and that's not my thing either. But I know there's stop losses, okay, and I think he mentioned something like a 30% drop and they would automatically, sell or get out of positions or whatever.
Yeah, so
Um,
that's called our equity protector. Exactly. Go ahead, Bill.
okay. Okay. And so my question is that, I mean, um, I'm on the verge of other income streams right now. I've like I said, I've been able now finally to kind of get past all the college stuff, whatever. And so I've got 8 grandkids, and that's my purpose for doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I've dabbled in real estate. I've dabbled in, and I mean, I've got some stuff pending right now, but I really want to take this 60,000. I've already requested the funds and get it to work for me. Um, I'm just, with the market and everything right now, I'm questioning, you know, uh, is now a good time to get in
Yeah, so
or
fortunately for in the foreign exchange, and thanks for the question. Fortunately for the
Mhm.
foreign exchange space, and you're able to make money in whether it's a bull market or a bear market because it's all about where you place your trade, right? If you
Yes.
believe
Yeah.
that the euro is going to go down as opposed to the US dollar going up, then and if
Mhm.
it happens that way, then that's correct, right? So
Mhm.
you're placing educated and actual researched bets on the fact of what direction things are going to go. So it's not a buy and hold strategy, which is what
Yeah.
affects the market mostly. It's swing trade. It's not just swing trading, but it's also high frequency trading where you get in and out of positions pretty quickly. So.
Okay. Okay. And like I said, I was just kind of that question came up because when he was telling me about the returns that have, and he was just going by a couple of sample clients, I guess, and telling me how much they'd earned. And so I was making that correlation to the market being where it's at now,
Yeah.
down low. And I get that. I get that. I've been in banking and finance for, I did that for about 18 years, and then I went into teaching. And so that's what I've been the last 20 years. I'm
Love it.
61. I'll be 61 on Saturday. And so I mean, 60,000, I mean, for some, maybe a drop in the bucket. For me, it's a good chunk of money, and so I just want to make sure moving in that, 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 and I get it. There's no guarantee and you can't make a guarantee, but I'm looking, the state pays me, well, is paying me, 2% on it right now, and which is not much,
Right.
but
And then,
I was just,
annually, of course, you're going to, for traditional investment options, 401ks, IRAs, index
Mhm.
funds, different things like that. You're going to look at, I've not heard 2%. That's probably the lowest that I've heard, but 2 to 10
Yeah,
plus percent kind of on average. And so, we definitely, historically have done a lot better than that. But Daniel, I appreciate you with your
yeah,
question. I'll go ahead and, allow for other people to
yeah.
ask unless you had one more specific,
No,
question for
no,
me.
that
Okay, great.
that was,
So
I
we'll
like
go
the
with
idea that it works in down markets and up markets. So, okay,
yeah,
thank you, appreciate it, Aaron.
100%, 100%. And happy birthday. All right, so
Oh,
we've
thank you.
got Josh, then we've got Chief, and then we'll go with Nancy. So Josh, you can go ahead and take a moment to unmute.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I was just curious if you could break down the purpose of the upfront investment for each tier.
Yeah. So you're getting access. I mean, everything takes a license, right? There's a license fee for
Sure.
each of these things. And then also there is a fee to have the representative speak to you. There is a fee to have our support team, be able to assist you throughout the process here. Those are the biggest ones. And then of course there is also accounting for the ability for us to be an online presence that you've probably seen. You probably see my face a little bit more times than
A
maybe
lot
you
of
would.
it.
But that all has a cost to it as well. So all of those factors that we do account for and make sure that we're giving the lowest price that we possibly could be while continuing to have the best value, for yourself.
Awesome, man. And then one more, if I could.
Mhm.
A couple years ago, I bought into Thak Nguyen's real estate platform, and are you familiar with him? The Vietnamese guy
No,
who says,
sir.
"Buy
Who?
this, not that." His name's Thak Nguyen.
No, sir.
No, okay. Pretty big online presence. So I bought in 5 grand, and then as soon as you get in, they immediately start upselling you on a bunch of other products and circles to
Mhm.
join.
Sure.
So I was like, oh man.
Yeah, there's a
Is
reason. Yeah, of course, there's a reason. That's called a lead magnet, or something to ascend, an
Sure,
ascension model. So I mean, our
right.
our ascension model is really, just having the ability to get more algorithms. We're not going to push that on you. You're going to start with what you start with and feel comfortable where you want to join, and you already know that there's upgrade availability there. So what you see is what
Okay.
you get. You don't have to get access to,
Yeah.
to to platinum and then have to also buy a super expensive software on top of that, or hidden fees in that regard.
Okay. So if you buy in at Diamond, is there any other upgradable package, or you're done and you're set for life essentially?
We do have our Sapphire option. We'll, have our representative speak to you directly about it, but it just gives you access to more algorithms. And it gives you access that at no additional cost to our gold algorithm as well, which has, historically on average, been able to produce about a 15% on a monthly basis. So that's been something a lot of people want, but that may be something if you come in with Diamond that we're able to talk about at the end of this call.
Okay. You could always upgrade to it.
You can always upgrade. That's correct.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much.
100%. All right. So we've got Chief, then Nancy, and then we'll go with Tanny.
Hey man, how's it going?
Very good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Happy belated Easter to you from a fellow believer to another.
Excellent. Thank you. You too.
Um, yeah, man. I pretty much got two questions. So going off like the Diamond platform, you say you give 65. Is that 65 just to get access? And then once you have access, then you have to put more money into it? Or is that 65 that we're giving up front? Is that what the traders are playing with essentially?
Yeah, great question. So it's 60, so it's 59.8K.
Oh,
So
sorry.
give yourself a little discount there. And then yeah, so you will need to fund your account separately. So whatever
Got it.
you want to actually add into your account would be additional.
Got it. Okay. And then secondly, is there like a specific exchange that you guys like to work with? So like having access for us as clients to be able to look at the growth on phones and computers. Is there a specific exchange you guys like to deal with?
Yeah, for sure. So looking at well, are you talking about validating the trades, or are you talking about where your actual funds are held, or what do you mean?
Yeah, where our funds are held.
Yeah, so we use a couple of different platforms depending on which option that you choose. Of course, there's TradeStation, there's Aux Securities, there's Access Prime. So it just depends. When you have your call with your success manager, you'll be able to decide on which algorithms that you want based off of the profiles of each of the strategies, and then also your tolerance. And then from there, they'll be able to direct you to the preferred brokerage to be able to facilitate those trades for you.
Got it. Thanks, man.
100%. All right. Okay, so we've got Nancy, we've got Tanny, and then we'll go with Dan.
Yeah. So I'm a Christian too. So glad to see that your whole family's Christian. And so my question is, so you guarantee that we wouldn't lose our funds? I mean, I know you really can't, but I'm just saying the amount of money you put in, you wouldn't pretty much go lower than that.
No, I can't. I can't in good faith and conscience say that. This is risk capital. So any capital that you do put in needs to be able to technically go to zero. We haven't experienced that before, but it does need to be risk capital. I couldn't have you taking a second mortgage out on your home, or taking out a really expensive loan, or whatever the case would be in order to fund this. It's for individuals that, hopefully you're making into the six figures. If you're not making into the six figures, hopefully you have a really good nest egg that you're not taking from, something that you really need tomorrow or next month. You're pulling from a little bit of excess that is not producing the returns that you actually are looking for.
So have you all pretty much been profiting since you started every month?
Yeah. So overall, yes. So what we look for is year over year, right? And so, we have had months where there's been a few percent of loss. And then, of course, that's made up by, several percent or more in gains. And so overall, year over year, yes, profitability at multiples higher than the average traditional vehicles, like I mentioned before.
And are we able to see that? Like, are we able to see how much you have made over the last 3 years?
Yeah, 100%. So what we do is, let me go ahead and pull up so what we use is a third-party platform, and it is called My FX Book. So give me just a second while I pull up some of that information for you. All right. So my FX book, for anyone who is not familiar, just gives you the ability to see what exactly is being traded, kind of the overall gain, the amount in the balance, and then you'll be able to see kind of the overall percentages. So you can see longs won about 60%, shorts won about 48%. So overall, kind of averaging out to about 55% win rate there. And if anybody knows about trading, if you're 51% in the win rate, typically you are profitable. And we'll take a look at some of the returns. Going into 2024, you're looking at 2, 3, 4%, 4, 5+%, and then of course there's months that are in the 13s and just approaching 14%. And then kind of going into this year, year to date again, and when everybody else is getting killed, we're still profitable year to date above 10%. So that's been something that's been great on this strategy alone. And then we'll go ahead and kind of take a look at another option here. We'll be able to show kind of overall percentages, the balance that's in there, how often it's updated. Typically, it's updated at least a few times during the day. Same thing, average actually is about 66.5% on the win percentages. And then kind of going down into some of the history here. So this is This is our gold option here. And so you can see October when it started about 14%, 25% in November, and then kind of going from there. So it's something that for us, when you do have your call with your success manager, depending on which algorithm that you want to choose, they'll talk to you about the different profiles of each. And then they'll also be able to, based off of your tolerance, be able to discuss with you specifically what is going to fit the best.
All right. Thank you for showing that.
Yeah, 100%. All right. So we've got Tanny. We've
Oh my
got
gosh,
Dan.
it's me. Okay.
You're up. Let's go.
My question is like super quick. Do you guys hold trades overnight?
Only on occasion, not very often. Great question, but typically not.
I see. And then your history is only from last 1 year, or how long you go back doing this?
Yeah, so some of our algorithms are three years old. Most of them are an average of about 1.5 years, but we do have some that do have a history of back to 3 years.
And I'm assuming your algorithms keep changing, knowing the market nowadays. It's just you can be using the same which you're using a month back.
Well, you can use the same that you use, some months back, but you're right. At some points they do become less effective, right? So you're absolutely correct on that. So that's why you're getting access to the trading teams that we have, because if we just gave you this software and just said, hey, run with it, right? It's like giving you the keys to an airplane and telling you to go from New York to Florida. Right. It's pretty difficult, I would imagine. So you just, you're able to actually board the plane with a professional, someone who has a track record of success of multiple flights, and you feel comfortable, being able to get in the back and take the ride. There is some turbulence, right? There is a little bit of, kind of things that go up in the air, but overall you've reached your destination, and we've been really successful at helping people get there.
So if I understand you correctly, what you're saying is we do our own trading and you set it up us, or you do it, we give you money. I mean, I'm kind of like feeling you. I just got in the last minute, so I don't know how this works. So we give you money and you do the trading. We can just look at it when we want to, or we are the one who's actually doing it.
No, and the same. Well, let me ask you this: when you get on the flight, hopefully it's something like Delta or something. When you get on the flight, are they asking you to fly the plane?
If I have a license. No, of course not. Yes.
Of course not, right? So for us, we look at it the same, right? If we ask somebody to do something that they're not familiar with doing and expect them to teach them, but they don't have the time, they don't have the energy, they don't have the bandwidth, then it would be a losing proposition. So what we do is just that, right? Same as an airline, we provide access to the planes and the pilots, and then they take you to your destination. So for us, we are not the trading team specifically. We give you access to the trading team that has helped me for the last 5 years be successful on my end. So no, you're not asked to actually execute any trades on your own. That's something that is not advisable. 90% of traders, even higher of a percentage in some people's estimation, are not profitable. So we give you access to the 5 to 10%.
So my last question is that you said that the equity protector is like 30%, something like so, right? So what will happen if you lose 30%? What will happen after that?
Yeah, great. Well, I mean, in that regard, depending on how many algorithms you have, you think about your portfolio overall, how much exposure did you have to that specific one that had that loss? If you only had 10% of your profile exposed to that one that had a 30% loss, then effectively you've only lost 3% of your actual capital. Does that math make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so that's kind of what the beauty of diversification actually is. But of course, it will, depending on what happened and why it happened, it may be paused, or if it was just like, something completely just like, out of that realm of possibility of happening again, then we'll continue on, business as usual.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Aaron.
Absolutely. 100%. Okay, so we've got Dan already unmuted. Then we'll go with Hunter and Jared.
I got just a real quick question. Can you add in and pull out funds whenever you need to?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. And then you also mentioned you have access to professionals that are in your network. So what does that look like? Is that at a discounted rate, or what does that look like?
Great question. So no, that's a part of the membership fee, right? That's what you're actually getting access to, the trading teams that we have exclusive relationships with. So you're getting access to the trading teams that we have.
Okay, and I was referring to when you said you had some other professionals, attorneys.
Oh, I'm
tax
sorry. I'm
people.
sorry. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Yes, the wealth ecosystem. Got it. Yeah. So, what you do when you have your success manager, you have that one-on-one onboarding call. Then any additional services that you need, you just make that request, and then they will give you their calendar link in order to schedule a free consultation with them. And then you have a discussion on your circumstances, what exactly you're looking for, and then determine if it's viable for you to actually work with them on an ongoing basis.
Okay, very good. All right, that covers it for me.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so we've got Hunter and then Jared, and we've got Kunal, I believe is how you pronounce it.
I don't believe I've got any questions right now. I think they've done a good job of answering everything so far. So I'm just gonna continue to listen along and see what else I can learn.
100%. Sounds good. All right, so we've now got Jared and we've got Kunal, and then we'll go with Dwayne.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. Came late to the discussion. What is the conservative returns that we could expect after year one, at the end of year one?
Yeah, conservative is around 30%.
30%. Okay, great. Thank you.
100%. All righty. And then we've got Kunal and we've got Dwayne, and then we'll go with T-Rock.
Okay, great. So my first question is, and maybe I'll just summarize just to make sure my understanding is correct. So ATN is really acting as a bridge to a network of professional traders that either trade based on some algos or they trade manually, or it may be a combination of both. I don't know exactly.
The secret sauce is the combination of both, right? Algorithms do about 90% of the work. So think of it like a Tesla. It's got, autopilot mode. 90% of the work in that mode is done by the actual car itself. But that 10%, when something jumps into the road, or you start to swerve a little bit, you need that 10% to keep you alive. And that 10% is what the trading team actually focuses on and make sure that the ship stays steered correctly.
Okay, and these are full-time traders, right? I mean, that's what they do for a living, so to speak.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. And then my next question is, so going back to the different tiers you talked about, I think gold, platinum, diamond. So there was, I think with gold, you could get access up to 3 strategies and 5 and so on and so forth. So the returns that you were generally sharing previously, do they, in your experience, vary significantly from tier to tier, in the sense that, with the highest tier, you can get access to up to, let's say, 7 strategies, versus the lowest tier, you get access to only 3 strategies. So the lowest strategy may not, or the lowest tier may not perform as well as the highest strategy, just because it has, less algos running, for it. So I'm just trying to get a sense for, just from a historical performance standpoint, which tier has generally performed the best.
Yeah, really great question. Of course, the more you the higher the tier that you have, the higher the chances are that you'll have really good performance. I mean, that's relative, right? Because if you're conservatively looking at around 30%, that's pretty much beating so many other investment vehicles. So historically, if you can see my screen, it's been about 40 to 60% on the gold level. Historically, between 60 and 80% on the platinum. And then for diamond, we've seen 60 and we've seen upwards of 100%. The biggest difference is going to be the profit split. So, it's all good and well to have a 40 to 60% year, but, the 50-50 really is something that, it's more for our, economic friendly option for clients that want to get started. They don't have maybe a lot of capital and they will eventually be upgrading. So that's the biggest difference. Yes, the amount of algorithms, historically, the performance has been better the higher the tiers, and then the big one is the profit split.
Got it. And then maybe just to wrap this up, is there like a minimum that someone has to invest? Obviously, there's the investment into the program itself, but outside of that, you have to bring in your own capital. So is there a minimum in terms of, what you need to get started with the program?
Great question. So some people, I mean, the absolute bare minimum is 4,000. But some people come in at 10, some people come in at whatever they're comfortable with. And of course, there's some people that come in and just like, hey, I'm just going all in, and they'll come in with $500,000 or whatever it would be. So our average deposit on the like initial call is 100,000. So there, like I mentioned, there's people that come in with 20K. There's people that come in with $500,000 to get started. So 4,000, just to answer your question, is the absolute bare minimum, but you can kind of go anywhere in between.
And you would typically create your own brokerage account with a broker, and then obviously your team of traders ties into that account and able to execute trades while you still retain the ownership of the account itself.
100%. That's correct.
Got it. Okay. All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. So we'll go with Dwayne, and then we'll go with T-Rock, and then I think there's Dame.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, not really much. I've been a follower for a while. A rep, pretty much covered a lot. There's a lot of things in the fire. Just a question about, I know you can get on your returns like 30%. And I've always was told, anything that beats the market, it's like maybe watch out for a red flag. But I'm not second guessing, on your program. But I mean, I know SC is awesome, but just, to be able to beat the market, is like, am I missing something that in your program that on how you can be able to do that?
Yeah, well, it's high frequency trading. So you get access to what Wall Street, does and allows for, hedge funds and big banks and what have you to get access to. So basically, the whole premise of this is to give access to the top 5 and 10%, which would be, hopefully you guys on the call to give access to what the top 1% already has and have had for years.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Aaron. Appreciate it.
100%. Love it.
All right,
okay.
thank you.
Yep. So we've got T-Rock, we've got Dame, and then I see Colette. She just joined. So we're just asking our 1 or 2 questions that you may have, and taking it from there. So we've got T-Rock first.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I just wanted to ask a question about, and I put it in the chat, about transferring a 401 or a retirement account to your platform. Is there any type of,
If it's traditional or Roth, then you would have to withdraw.
Withdraw? Okay. All right. And I forgot my second question, but I'll think of it later, but thank you. So.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so we've got Dame, we've got Colette, and I believe, Chief, you have another question here. So we'll go with Dame first. Go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Aaron. Allow me to spiritualize it. I want to thank you because I felt like there's a spiritual guidance behind your work, because you came in at a time when I really needed your services, and I want to thank you for that. Yeah. I come from a community where I actually help women, minority, come together, and they put funds together because they haven't learned financial literacy. So we teach them financial literacy. And then, so we've been collecting funds and putting it in real estate, and then having like PML, or private money lending services. So then they get returns. I'm wondering how that can work here, or do they individually have to be part of? Because in what we're doing right now, they bring the funds and then we put it in a syndication, and it becomes a private money lending group. And then we put that out to real estate investors. And once they get the funds, and maybe let's say somebody maybe needs $250,000, and they will return it in 3-4 months with 20%, then we get that 20% and split it among the people who have brought in the money. I'm wondering how that can work here.
Well, I'll say thank you for sharing, and it sounds like your foundation does great work. What I would say is we're not a syndication, and also we don't encourage taking out loans or leveraging for yourself, because we see leverage as like fire. Fire can keep you warm, it can give you light, it could fend off predators, it could, do a whole bunch, but it also can burn your house down, right? So we don't really necessarily encourage uh, loans or people that don't actually have the capital uh, to do it themselves. So I'll answer it that way. The other way I'll answer it is, I'm not sure. It sounds like you probably already are working with one of our representatives. I'd like to have an opportunity to speak to you more one-on-one directly and see how or if we could actually be able to help. It seems like there's some nuances that I won't necessarily be able to get details on this call for the interest of time, but I would like to have a conversation with you if you're open to it, and let's just get that scheduled offline if we can.
I would love that. Yeah, Julian is the one who's been gracefully helping me. So you want me to connect on his what do you call it, text message, and then he connects us?
Yeah, exactly. Aaron said to schedule a private Q&A with him. Can you help me set that up? And he'll be more than happy to do that.
Beautiful, thank you. And a little touch is thank you for the way you help your dad. It's one of the very special touches that comes on whenever I see your ads about your dad. So thank you.
Yeah, 100%. I see that you're a nurse as well, so I know how important the
Yeah,
work that is that you do, and it's something that without nursing, he probably wouldn't be with us anymore. So thank you for
complete.
that. Yeah.
And
All
when
right.
you see the logo, we have the Precious Kids Foundation. We take in kids if they have cancer and provide them chemotherapy. So I'm all around helping people who need medical support, which they don't have the funding, and then we support the funding. So I think that's where the special touch comes in to say thank you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the work that you do. So we've got Colette, and we have Chief, and then it looks like in the chat, Dan has another question. So we'll go with Colette first.
Hi, Aaron and everyone else. Thank you. I was just curious about people who are nervous about this, because I'm seeing a lot of really good videos and people attesting to the performance of what's going on, working well with your team. I'm wondering how hands-on or hands-off can your team be with each of us as individuals, perhaps, if we're a little bit more nervous or scared or new to this territory.
Yeah, it's fair, right? Most people, who are in this position that have been looking for a passive income, a second or third or fourth income stream, something to allow for them to have more bandwidth, more time with their family, doing the things that they want. Most people are a little bit nervous because a lot of people I've seen in the chat that have tried different things before and they haven't worked out. So it's natural. It's always, something I'm sure you've seen in like almost 100 testimonials that we had to this point. You've seen their story of like, and we asked, were you nervous? How did you feel? Were you skeptical? Most of them naturally were. So just on our end, we understand that. My background, Colette, is customer service at first. Like when I first got into working in corporate, it was customer service. And I realized at like 21 years old, like the lifeblood between the actual company and its services are the actual client experience, the support staff, how they help and how they direct and what time that they take and the compassion that they have. So you'll know pretty quickly the level of support that we do provide. That is one of the things that we're the most proud of.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
100%. Okay, so we've got Chief, then we have Dan, and I believe we've got through everyone.
Hey man, one last question that I have. So going from like the platinum to the the diamond to the platinum, if you pay 35 and you want to upgrade, do you just split the difference and just pay the 25 to? Okay, that
Yes.
was it.
Yes.
Okay, sounds good, man.
Love it, love it. All right, and then did I say that there was one more? Oh, okay. I think I have Dan that has another question here.
That was just my exact question, what Chief asked.
Oh, look at
exactly,
that.
word for word. He asked exactly what I was thinking. Thank you, Chief.
I love it. All right, and now this is my customer service background. I don't know if this is serving me great, but does anyone have any additional questions before we jump off here?
Can I ask one more?
Yes, go ahead, Josh.
All right. So I pulled out a HELOC recently because I was thinking of doing either an ADU or buying a multifamily, residence. Just looking at the returns that you would get on a rental versus this, I mean, it seems like a simple decision, right? But I know you talked about earlier not leveraging anything. So given the situation where I was already going to put the money into building something, would you advise putting it into this over building an ADU or buying a multifamily?
Well, I'll say it this way, right? Won't give you financial advice, but I will say based off of what is out there, the typical interest rates that people are getting are pretty high, and that makes the returns that they can get off of that borrowed capital, it needs to make up for it, right? Money's not as cheap. Borrowing money is not as cheap as it was, even 3 or 4 years ago. And so the returns that you see that we historically do, give people access to are just that, the historical returns. So if you are bullish and believe that we can continue to have those types of returns, then it probably is something that would be worth it to consider. If you are not exactly confident or think that would be a good idea, then by all means I wouldn't like directly say to do one thing or the other, but you can kind of do the math. And again, historically we've been able to outproduce real estate and stocks pretty handedly.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, love it. Okay. All right. Enjoy the rest of everyone's day. Thanks for joining in, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thanks.